could get caught in a sticky situation. They leave that final melee barrack still up.
Thompson is struggling, man. Life Drain is an okay spell, but it just looks like it doesn't exist in this game. You have cores with 50% plus magic resist sitting on heart regen. It literally doesn't lower your HP at all.
Yeah, and the whole idea we're talking about with the Aghanim Scepter, maybe lowering some of the damage that's coming out from these heroes, particularly the Primal Beast. Maybe he starts doing nothing in these fights. Well, it's only just now here. All these long life drains, he didn't have the Aghs.
So at least now you're getting some utility effect out of it.
Yep.
But you could not rely on this
Got the Sacrifice Bloodthorn. Watson does not put his hero in danger. He lets Gabby charge for it. You said, you take him out. I'm going to wait for that second life. And sure enough, Skeeter does a buy. He immediately buys back. Soulbind onto 2 cores here is pretty nice. With the Song of Siren ruins everything.
Look at the blast.
Here comes the Ice Blast, lined up, goes straight for 9 and Thompson. Thompson pops his BKB, trying to kite backwards. Gabby's going to be target once again, puts himself forward, gets the Dispel, turns around, goes for Thompson without that BKB. Yeah, they'll just pound those bounds into dust.
Skeeter finally back. He still has no Phantasm for 9, however.
Yeah, he's doing absolutely no damage with just his hero. In fact, he pops the BKB, and now he doesn't do anything as Gabby once again grabbing hold of these heroes, not letting them go anywhere through this one. Runs over the Sand King as well, and Entity do it. A comeback, one of the biggest disparities, one of the fastest disparities in this playoff so far. Tundra had a full lead, Entity held on and turned the game fully around.
That is not a game I expected to come back that swiftly, and it just turned on a dime. Ever since that one fight, Entity never looked back, never lost another engagement. Stormstormer was below 9. Didn't even matter. I mean, if you're Tundra, you come out of that game, you're like, what the hell else are we supposed to do? Or what the hell is this lineup supposed to do? And you can go back to some of the itemization here on 33, on Thompson, right? Maybe you go for slightly more aggressive items, higher damage items, whatever it is. But ultimately, at a certain point, these fights just started to look impossible because there's no physical damage combination with the Weaver bug going through. You can't take these core heroes down, and there's so much sustain in the hearts, the magic resist, and the Bloodthorn, the Martyr's Plate. AA is negating your healing. That differential, way too much to overcome. But man, what a comeback. At one point, Indy were down. I remember looking at it. They were down 14 levels.
Oh, God.
In experience difference.
Hey, that goes to show you never give up in a Dota game. You always have the chance to be able to come back, and Entity proved that here. With swift comeback, they make it work in game number 1.
Never back down, never give up, and Entity are the definition of that. A beautiful comeback for them, Sheep. This Primal, you hyped it up. It wasn't looking so great in that earlier part, but he really came online and did a lot in team fights for the later part.
Name of the game. Chain feed! It felt like Tundra were trying to cover too much of the map, so they kind of gave away like a little kill, which turned into another kill, which turned into another kill. And this all aligned with when Primal Beast got his BKB, which was a massive power spike because he was finally able to just get in there and use his spells. There was no defensive items on any of the supports, so every time they were getting gone on, they just could not get away. It's like, okay, cool, your Weaver's trying to build a Gleipnir, fantastic. Well, now you're dead, and your core is dead, and everyone is dead, and Primal Beast is massive.
When you looked at these two lineups, Dendi, would you expect late game to go in favor of Entity?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Overall, if I look at the lineup of Tundra, I was already worried when we picked Pagna into a Primal, and it went really well for them, right? We had upper hand, we were like pushing a lot and doing a lot of good stuff, but it's really hard to break high ground in Dota right now. And it's really hard to break through high ground with Pagna, CK, and Senking, to me at least, against those heroes. So obviously this game would come to a point where Primal gonna get his BKB, and they might find some comeback mechanics, and that's what happened. Like they had really good heroes, much stronger mid-late game compared to Tundra, I think.
Yeah, so good on them. Props to Entity for being able to prolong it. We've got highlight reels, but this time a little extra something on top. We're going to have a little bit of a listen in and know what was being said at the earlier parts of this game from Entity.
Guys, they wanna fight here.
Okay, we don't have ice splash. They will fight, they will fight.
No rush, please.
Ward here. I'm the jumping. I got my spell off. I'm healing myself.
Look on Pagna, guys.
I'm watching. Pagna, guys.
Weaver, kill Weaver. I'm back, I'm tipping in.
Can we touch CK, guys?
Yeah.
Sunking, guys.
Stay close to Watson, guys.
Sunking, Watson.
Look on me. I'm stunned. I will hear not here.
Okay, nice.
some communications there listening into Entity. They knew what targets they wanted to go on T for this 33-minute fight.
Yeah, it was such an important moment for them because just minutes before Tundra, they were hitting the melee racks. It was 27. They had, what, 17,000 gold lead. Everything was going Tundra's way, but it was that brief moment of splitting up and the points that they mentioned about the Primal Beast. This is the reason why it's going so well. When Primal gets online, all he has to do, guys, I found Pugna. You sit on top of him, now you're not life draining, you're not breaking the Naga illusions, killing them off instantly. Then Watson can get to play some actual Dota 2 for once, and Entity, they had one chance to get back into this game from poor positioning from Tundra. They capitalized on it, and then they pressure outside Roshan. So yeah, to see through all the noise and just the aggression of Tundra, incredibly commendable stuff from them.
Would we expect Pugna to be stagnating like this, Rezo? Is it a mid-hero that's put on a timer? Or was it just the Entity lineup that he had no impact on later game?
I mean, I think Dandy was right about like them picking them this hero into a primal NAA. This is like already hard, but they had like such a good window of like ending the game, like having 17,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
Just like they couldn't really split up that much, and I think 9 was a big part of like why they started to shaking a little bit, because they caught him once on top lane, then they caught him on the mid lane, and then after that kind of like they found this little ages to snowball out of control after.
The big shuffle around in Tundra is obviously 9 going to pose 4, picks up Weaver. We've seen it a couple times this tournament, and I do know that Perch wants to break it down. He wants to talk more about this support Weaver and
Thanks, Nat. Yeah, that's right. Weaver support, Weaver as a whole played 12 times in the tournament, 5 as support, 3 of those with 9 playing it. And I want to talk about the pros and cons of the hero as a support. Now, the best thing about him is that he's very fast and he's invisible most of the time. His base damage is great as well, so that can basically give you more out of the laning stage in terms of trading than some other supports can at times. He ends up getting first blood, and here's another really impactful part. He's able to block camps pretty easily, so he doesn't have to play some weird sentry game. He doesn't have to put his life on the line as much to block these camps every minute, and that means that the safe lane for Entity is likely going to go a little bit